funny thing about Trip is, like truly the funny thing about Trip. I have never seen a company that is so bolsterous about how they're going to take over the industry and they're going to take everything down and just send them $200 a month and they will take care of it, and then keep delaying the launch over and over and over again until we even forgot when they were supposed to launch in the first place. More than a year later, Trip still isn't out yet. I mean, they exist. They're out there fighting the good fight. They're saying, we're coming, we're coming, we're coming, and they never come. It's like a bad date night. Sorry about that graphic joke, folks. I couldn't resist. And yet, Myle, a new company called Myle, who I had never heard about before today, basically came out of nowhere and said, hey, you know what? We're a new company. We're here to take on Uber and Lyft, and we're live now in New York. It's Saturday night. I'm sorry, I will stop with the jokes. But seriously, there's a new ride-sharing service out, and it didn't take them like 2 years of foreplay to get to. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here and happen to really like this video, and you appreciated the more adult than usual jokes, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell notification. We upload on a near daily basis with news, commentary, editorials, all that jazz, interviews, podcasts, whatever, and you will want to be notified of it. So anyway, this new company, it's called Myle. We are talking about a new rideshare service. I mean, geez, I haven't seen someone try to create a new rideshare service in a long time. Boy, when I first started doing this, it sure seemed like everyone was trying to create a new rideshare service every week. You had CJ and Go, you had Pull Up and Go, which I hear might still be out there, but I don't know. You had Sidecar, you had Juno, you had Bounce, I believe it was, and Arcade City. You had all these competitors, and yet Lyft was the only one that really stuck. And you don't see anyone really trying, although Sony has S-Ride in Japan, it should be noted. However, there's a new company that is trying to compete for Uber and Lyft's market share. They want a piece of that pie, and they've got a big promise to go along with it. There will be no surge. So let's take a look at what Myle is. This is from Roadshow. Uber and Lyft has transformed how so many of us snag a ride. When it comes to newcomer Myle, the latest ride-hailing service thinks it's even closer to perfecting the mobility formula, all in the name of saving riders money. And we're going to talk about what this might mean for drivers. Myle launches this week exclusively in New York, so hopefully NYC vlogger will tell us how it is. The startup said in a Wednesday announcement, "Truly, this is meant to be the best ride-hailing service for New Yorkers, with operations in Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and Staten Island." The firm's founder and CEO, Oleksiy Medvedevsky, I think I pronounced that correctly, I might be wrong, spent 20 years as part of the taxi industry and touts this new company as the better solution for locals. Notice how he said locals. I don't know if he plans to make this nationwide anytime soon. Myle's claim to fame is the promise of zero hidden fees, of which we've been talking a lot about that on this channel recently, and absolutely no surge pricing, which has been discussed over and over, and I guess it's a good time to readdress that situation. I personally think surge pricing is good. I think surge pricing is good. I also think it's a necessary evil. If you want your drivers to be independent contractors, if you don't want them to be employees, you have to give them a reason to go on holidays at certain times, at certain hours. Surge does that. I don't know how you're going to get drivers out on the road unless you give them a little incentive for certain days and certain hours. I mean, I guess you can give them bonuses, but that comes straight out of the company's coffers. With Surge, the customer is paying that time and a half, in a sense, for you. But let's continue. Surge pricing can turn a relatively affordable ride into something far more expensive when it comes time to hail an Uber or Lyft, but Myle said transparent prices will help the startup establish itself as a proper alternative to the two other firms. Yeah, for a rider, but again, you get to the driver's side, and by the way, it should be noted, I don't think they actually mention rates in this article. I would assume the rates are close to what Uber and Lyft are. They're probably not going to be much more expensive, if they're more expensive at all. So if the rates are the same, how are you going to convince drivers to get onto Myle for no surge when Uber and Lyft have surge at certain times on certain holidays, at certain hours, yada, yada, yada? In addition to no surge pricing, there's also no cancellation fee until the driver is parked in front of the pickup location. Now that concerns me as a former driver. That makes me wonder just a little bit, because that can get abused. And in fact, it has been abused. I remember when it was like a whole, 10 minutes before the rider could cancel. The rider had like 10 minutes originally, I believe, to cancel the Uber or Lyft ride before they were charged a cancellation fee. And, well, that meant that you could drive somewhere, wait 8 minutes, have the ride canceled, and then guess what? You don't get a cancellation fee because they canceled 1 minute before. Then they changed it to 5 minutes, then to 2. They've actually gotten better about that. But I don't know how this is supposed to be like a bonus for drivers, because this essentially means that you could call a driver, they can drive a good 20-30 minutes to your location, and then the last minute, you know what, they're taking too long, I'm going to cancel, and they don't pay a cancellation fee, and then the driver is out of luck. I don't like that at all. And let's continue. While surge pricing isn't kind to a rider's wallet, the system does help Uber and Lyft drivers earn a little extra cash for working during peak times, yes. So what incentive does a driver have to work for Myle? The company told Roadshow drivers are paid weekly, and the commission Myle charges is less than Uber and Lyft. Thus, drivers should keep more of a fare in their own pockets. Yeah, but what is the fare? I don't think it's mentioned in this article. The biggest and best bonus for the driver is when there is constant flow of work without huge gaps between the jobs, a company representative said. Sounds a whole lot like the more you drive, the more you earn, even though really the fare has a lot to do with it. Myle certainly expects its drivers to stay busy, all while undercutting rivals' fare by an average of 10%. So, and that kind of depends what that looks like. In California, that means, if they were here, that means you'd be taking about 15%, which, hey, you know what? Not gonna lie, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. And there's no hidden fees, then that means that 25% maintenance fee, booking fee, safety fee, whatever Uber's calling it this week, isn't going to be charged. Although I think they probably will charge it, a fee like that. But, yeah, and you get more money. But if you go to New York where, they don't have, well, I don't know. Let's not talk about New York. I tend to mess up New York all the time. Let's talk about Nashville. Because I don't think Nashville has, a capped price or any fare or anything like that. I think they can still get away with up to 60% off taking from your fare because of the upfront pricing. If Uber's taking away an average of 60%, would Myle take 50%? I don't know. I think Myle should be upfront about exactly what the commission is going to be right now. Speaking of startup, the startup told us it has over 5,000 drivers signed up and ready to carry out ride-hailing duties for Myle, which does not surprise me. Drivers want to get rid of Uber and Lyft as much as possible. Myle is available for on-demand and pre-scheduled rides with 6 vehicle options presented. They range from a standard vehicle with 4 seats, SUVs, and wheelchair-accessible models. Those intrigued can find the Myle app on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store now. So, what do I think about this? Well, first of all, positives. It's a rival to Uber and Lyft. That will always be a positive in my eyes. And, apparently the commission for the fare is going to be roughly 10% less. So, hey, more money in your pocket in that sense. Negatives. There's no surge. So, at certain times, you might make more money on Uber or Lyft, even with their crummy rates. Also, I really hate this cancellation policy. I don't think it should be hey, you've got until they park in front of you before you can cancel. Because, especially in New York, there's a lot of traffic in New York. A lot of traffic. Drivers in New York are super troopers. They are outright super troopers. But they're in traffic a lot of the day. And I can see a situation where Someone is driving and it's taken them 30 minutes to get 5 miles because of heavy traffic. It happens here in LA, so I'm sure it would happen over there too. And then the person cancels. It's like no consideration into why they might not be there. I think they're going to need to change that and fast. They're going to have to go to like a 5-minute system where it's like, okay, you've got 5 minutes to cancel the ride. No penalty if you change your mind. After that, it doesn't matter what the reason for cancellation is. You are not getting your money back unless the driver truly didn't show up. And of course, they have tracking in the GPS so that you can see if the driver is in fact moving or not. Although, again, it's heavy traffic. Sometimes you can sit somewhere for minutes and not move. So I don't know. That's one of the problems with these gig economy apps. They always favor the customer more than the person doing the work, and I guess that's just never going to change. But hey, it's a competitor to Uber and Lyft. There is officially a competitor. And again, unlike Trip, it's here. It's on the stores. You can sign up. Apparently, you can start taking rides right now. It's only in New York at the moment. But then on the other hand, Trip is only in Florida, and it still doesn't really work, does it? So I'm gonna say cautiously optimistic, glass half full. Trying to be more positive these days. This is a good thing. I'm impressed. I think there's going to need some tweaks, and one of the problems with this, though, is you are going to have to pay your drivers because they're not going to have the kind of business that they do on Uber and Lyft. That means you got to pay them more. That means charging the customers more. I don't know if the customers want to pay more. That's one of the reasons we're in this mess. Uber and Lyft got into this pointless price war, and now neither of them can blink and raise the prices because they're stuck. Once one raises the price, then they'll go to the other app, and if the other app raises the price, they'll go to the other app. I mean, no one, and these companies don't want to lose customers to the opposition, the competition, I should say. So I don't know, but hey, for what it's worth, there's a new gig economy app. There's a new gig economy app. You can download it, you can get on it. What the heck? Let's just consider that a win right now. There's a little bit of competition. Who knows if it'll last? I guess we'll find out in a few months. Anyway, I'd like to know what you think about this. Does this sound like something you would want to do? Are you impressed with what you hear? Or does this sound like, nah, it's not really my thing. I think it's going to fail miserably. Because look, we always say we want alternatives to Uber and Lyft. Here's the alternative. But there are some concessions that you do have to make. Do you want to give those concessions to do this? I'd like to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.